Boss music is now playing, and I'm the boss! Wait, what was this ending called again?
You're too slow.
Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. I am Espoir du Vide, and today I want to play more Boyfriend to Death, specifically to meet our good friend Lawrence. But this time I'm going to be using a walkthrough so that I can get every single ending relating to Lawrence. Let's see if I can learn a little bit more about sweet Lawrence. Okay, this first ending is called, Lawrence Made You Quiet. So, I've gotten to this point, and I'm supposed to say, where am I? Which is probably what anybody would do, aside from saying, what have you done to me, you psycho? Ah, you. I gulped and stared at him. Where? My eyes darted around the room. Some sort of studio apartment. There are plants everywhere. Okay. You're probably feeling a little... I tried to move. I couldn't. Hey, calm down. I looked down and saw my arms and legs were tightly taped to a wooden chair. How tightly? What kind of tape is he using? I started to breathe faster and looked back to him. I can explain this. Something about this guy seemed... unstable. Scream for help! Help! Ah! I opened my mouth and screamed as loud as I could. Lawrence leapt forward and clamped his hand over my mouth. Oh yeah, because he's in an apartment, so everybody's gonna hear him. Shh! He stared at me hard as I stopped making noise behind his hand. I need you to be quiet. He slowly removed his hand. Okay. I'm gonna scream again. Oh, jeez. I took in a deep breath to scream again. Man, his thing just went all the way down. Goodness. This time, he was faster, slamming one hand hard on my face and the other around my neck. No, 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 no! Ah! Your eyes are beautiful! He pushed his hand harder around my neck. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't make any sound. I can't. You have to be quiet. Quiet! He only squeezed tighter. My vision began to spot as I desperately hoped for him to let me go. I don't think he's gonna... Yeah, he's not gonna let you... He didn't know. Whoop. That's probably the fastest ending. But he never did. Whoops. Lawrence made you quiet. Guess I won't be making no more sounds then. Now you got a dead body to deal with. So this ending is called...
You're too slow.
It's called You Were Too Slow. I don't know what I'm gonna be too slow at doing, because I wasn't supposed to dodge the punch later on, but hey friend, what's gonna be easy? I can't explain this. Something about this guy seemed... unstable. I nodded slowly, willing him to continue. Well, look, things got a little out of hand. He paused, thinking. I'd been talking to Ren for a couple weeks, you know, on the internet, so I was nervous. He started to fidget, and then you showed up, and Ren left, and I listened quietly, but he trailed off. I should never leave. It's not worth it. Oh, what has happened to you, Lawrence? What has befallen you? All I found was another problem. Look, dude, I don't have to be a problem. He paused. What? I can be your friend. Instead, we can be buddies. We can work this out. You like plants, I like plants. I don't think that's a good idea. I can see you like plants. He paused and glanced around at the ferns and potted plants in his apartment. I guess. I like to garden too. Buddy, I just ordered a bunch of peat pods from Home Depot. I got a bunch of seeds from last year. I just spent the morning starting seeds. They're on a hot mat that I bought like 2 years ago right now. I like to garden too, buddy. I'm trying to grow some strawberries this year. Really? He glanced around at all of his plants. It's just something I do to keep busy. I mean, I need to have something to think about. And I like taking care of them. He began to look a little happier. Oh, they're delicate. I like the way they need me. That's why I like it too. Not really, I just like trying. I say to all my seeds,
Some of you may die, but it's a sacrifice I am willing to make.
some of you will die, but that's a risk I'm willing to take. Yeah, sure, my insane little buddy. That's why I like it too. He lit up. You understand. It's kind of nice to meet someone that, well, you know. Oh, is he blushing? Aw. He trailed off. He paused and took a deep breath. He began to pace around his apartment. What am I gonna do with you? He leaned forward and brought the cup of tea to my lips gently. It was very warm and tasted unfamiliar, but not bad. I tried to drink it fairly quickly, but I began to feel a bit strange about halfway through. Well, what is this? It's proof. It doesn't take much to change everything. What? This wasn't any normal tea. Lawrence? Lawrence, I don't think that was tea you gave me. What's in these tea leaves? As I was about to pass out, I finally recognized that sickly sweet smell. It was him. It smelled like something rotting. So, did he already, go to the river is he dead? Is he a zombie? Is he a Zambambo? I slowly opened my eyes. Hey, Lawrence, are you a zombie? Are you an adorable blue-eyed zombie? You're awake. I jolted upright in the chair. How long was he watching me? I've had some time to think about it. You. And I can't let you go. He leaned in closer. You understand, right? What? No. Please, at least let me use the bathroom. I asked him desperately. Oh, geez, it's already starting to become night. Did I pass out through the entire day? Also, that's neat that the background changes like that to reflect the day. That's neat. I like that. I did want to try and get away, but it was also true. No. How dare you? I will stain your rug then. I don't think so. Don't worry. I'm not going to keep you much longer. Oh, okay, well, it's okay then. I looked at him questioningly, and he bent to grab a large metal bucket. What do you mean? He placed the bucket in front of my legs with a soft clank. Now, if I hadn't already done the other ending, I would think that he would mean for me to make urine into that bucket. I looked down into the empty bucket, dread tightening in my gut. My attention was caught by the glint of a knife in his hand. I wanted to cry out in fear, but that same dread choked me up as he moved the knife. There. The pain I was expecting never came. I looked down. He tore off the cut tape from around my arms. I looked back up at him. Are you letting me go? No. I need to get your blood out. I don't want you to do that, buddy. I like my blood right where it is. Well, what? It won't hurt. I've got some medicine. Drugs, I guess. Just some tea, and you won't feel a thing. No, friend. No, not this time. No, thank you. I'm not drinking anything you give me. I pushed away from him as hard as I could in the chair. Well, fine. I guess it doesn't matter if it hurts. He held the knife he cut my tape with, turning it over a bit. I was watching the blade when he gripped my wrist tightly. He licked his lips absent-mindedly as he gently moved his thumb over my wrist. Hey. He was feeling me and concentrating. Then, suddenly, he stopped and lowered the knife to my skin. Grab the knife. Can I grab the knife? Are both my hands free? Gimme. I reflect. With great speed, I grabbed for the knife. What? I managed to take it from his hands. We locked eyes, both of us calculating the situation. And the music bumping. Boss music is now playing, and I'm the boss! Wait, what was this ending called again?
You're too slow.
Oh no. He stepped back, out of my reach. This fluffing chair! I bent down quickly to cut the tape around my legs. Smart! I would have just been dumb and tried to fight him from the chair. Like, I'll get you. I'll cut, come over here. Ah! Oh no, wait, what's that? Hold on, friend. Oh no!
Not the scissorman.
Oh yeah, I forgot he uses garden shears like a certain somebody that I also know. I got through one as quickly as I could when I felt my head snap back up, pulled by my hair. Ah! My words were stopped by the large blade of garden shears on my neck. Ah. Drop it. Walk through, what am I supposed to do?
No.
Hey, buddy. How about I say no? It's my knife now. I held the knife tightly and braced myself to swipe at him. Ah! He held my head back still as blood poured from my throat and mouth. Ah! Fluff. Fiddlesticks. You were too slow. Okay, Ashton. I mean, Lawrence. What if I do drop the knife, okay? Fine. A knife against big old garden shears. Hey, at least this person actually knows how to draw garden shears properly. Okay, I'll stop. My hands were shaking. I dropped his weapon, squeezing my eyes shut in defeat. Are you still gonna cut me? He pressed the shears against my throat as a last warning, before lowering them and picking up the knife. He retaped my leg as I watched. For a moment, I wondered if I had made the wrong choice. But I didn't have time to think about it for long. He went right back to work. He pressed the knife back to my wrist. Just relax. I froze. He pressed the knife through my skin. I jerked and gasped as pain shot up my arm. His grip tightened painfully around my wrist. Shh. You chose to feel this. Oh yeah, 'cause I didn't take any of his drugs. The rest of my body shook, but he held my arm perfectly still and kept raking the knife through my flesh. It hurt like fire, and I squirmed uselessly. But I couldn't stop watching. He was breathing slowly and evenly as he carefully pulled the blade along my largest vein. He paid no attention to my whimpers or the tears streaming down my face. I saw my blood well up over my shaking wrist, then flow into the bucket below. We both watched the dark liquid seep out of me. He seemed to be relaxed by it. I felt somewhat detached. It was surreal. Was this really happening? The flow began to slow as I breathed more rapidly. He felt my cold hand, then moved to take my other arm. He positioned the knife over my undamaged wrist. maybe not. No, don't cut me, bro. Please. I pulled my arm away from him, weakly. Lawrence, I begged. I'm scared. You don't want to die? Of course not. He looked at me coldly. You'd rather cling to that temporary state. He leaned forward, brandishing the knife. Warm and noisy. Colors, sunlight, sweet scents, sensations. You want more, don't you?
Well, wait. Lawrence, where are you going with this, brother?
I shrieked as he slammed the blade down on my good arm.
Ow!
He covered my mouth to muffle my crying. Fine. Enjoy. I need to leave for a bit. My bleeding arms were shaking as I choked back more sobs.
You're just going to leave me like this?
He looked over my bloody limbs. I guess I can't. I breathed half a sigh of relief before realizing that he'd only grabbed the duct tape.
Oh! No!
He slapped a piece over my mouth, then roughly taped my arms back to the chair. I could only manage a pathetic, exhausted whimper as he left my view. Rude! I barely heard the door behind me slam before I passed out.
Where are you even going? You're just gonna... Oh, it's not over. It's not over.
It's so dark. I can barely see. I can't walk. Am I outside? I can't remember anything. I can't... Outside? It's wrong. Something told me that being outside should feel like freedom. It's worse than feeling trapped. I don't feel like I'm being buried or drowning. Just that this nothing is all there is.
Tell the trees to stop moving so much.
All there ever will be. All there ever was.
Ah! Hey now. Oh, okay. Oh, was it all a dream? I'm still alive.
I slowly raised my aching head. I tried to move my limbs and found I was fully taped down again.
Funnel cakes.
He's asleep.
Oh.
I took a few breaths and gathered my thoughts. What should I do?
Let's rest a little bit. Maybe replenish some of this over here.
There's no point in struggling now. I'm much too tired anyway.
If it weren't for me being taped to a chair and me bleeding profusely, this would be pretty nice. Just next to my captor sweetheart and looking at the plants and the rains coming down. It's really nice.
I tried to relax and forget about the nightmares. I tried to forget about this nightmare, too. I eventually passed out again.
Ah!
I woke up with a start. Deja vu. I looked down and groaned.
You look a little disheveled, buddy.
My head felt so fuzzy. I began to grow more concerned. He always seemed kind of bitter, but he really looked fed up now. He turned away from me without a word.
But, buddy...
He returned with a small plastic cup full of liquid. He shoved it in front of my face. Drink it.
I don't wanna. I don't want to drink it, and the walkthrough says I don't have to drink it, so,
I pursed my lips tight and glared at him. He tried to smile at me.
Aw, what a cute little sadistic smile.
It'll make you feel better.
He wasn't very good at faking it. No, thank you, sweetheart. No, Nothing he could say would make me drink that poo-poo caca. I kept my mouth shut. I saw him twitch. He looked at the cup, and to my surprise, he took a large swig. With his... Oh no! Oh dear, Lawrence, are you gonna do what I think you're gonna do? With his mouth full, he snapped his hand out to grab my nose. He was rough. I cried out. Then, before I could silence myself, his lips were covering my own. Lawrence! Oh, Lawrence! Oh, Lawrence! My sanity's gone! Ah! I felt the strange-tasting liquid gush into my mouth as I began to panic. He pulled away and snapped my jaw shut with his hand. I struggled and sputtered as he looked on coldly, absently licking some of the drug from his lips. I coughed after I felt most of the substance go down my throat. Dang it! How dare he smooch me? He watched me intently, leaning back against the table and fondling the empty cup. I was wondering what he was waiting for just as my fingers began to tingle. Lawrence, what is... I tensed up as the tingling began to spread all over my arms and legs. It became more intense, and then painful. Oh, God! Did you give me coconut milk? Ugh! Yuck, I'm gonna die! It's not very nice, is it? Ah! I lurched and strained against the tape and the chair as I felt like my veins were on fire. My muscles were tensing and cramping painfully. I wanted to scream, but my tensed jaw wouldn't open. We're just passing threads. But I don't like you. And now I have the power to weave your thread wherever I want. Huh? I rolled my eyes up to see him, not aware that my eyes had filled with tears. I'm going to twist you around. When did he pick up shears? He looked at the large blades boredly. I'm going to make you hurt. This must be a nightmare. He leaned over my convulsing body and wrenched my jaw open. I gurgled in horror as he grasped my tongue and pushed the shears in my mouth. Ah, hey, friend, that's not where those go. Up, not anymore. I couldn't move or scream. I couldn't even cough. All of my muscles were locked up. Hey, that's my tongue. How am I supposed to eat ice cream now? Well, yeah, I guess he did. Lawrence shut you up. I guess he did. He cut out my tongue. What do you mean you don't like me, Lawrence? What do you mean you don't like me? What did I do? I just didn't... You gave me a kissy poo and you say you don't like me. How dare you? I had to think of something to convince him. Just give me a chance. We can be friends. We can make this work. You gave me a smooch in the last ending. He suddenly looked at me with disgust. Another chance? How many chances? He seemed to be getting more agitated. I've tried 100 times. 1,000 maybe. He was breathing harder. Why are you getting so mad at me? I'm trying to be nice to you in this playthrough. It's always fine at first. And then I say, or I do something. Lawrence, just... And everything is heck again. It won't be long now. He let out an awkward, angry-sounding laugh. I'm not like them, Lawrence. He immediately stopped laughing. He slammed his hands down on my legs. Prove it. All right. You're not really giving me much to work with, my friend, so I don't know how to make you happy. I was scared. I looked down at myself, taped to this chair in this stranger's apartment. I don't know. I started to cry. He slowly took his hands off my legs. Oh, sorry. Listen, Fred, I'm not a licensed therapist, but if you want to talk, I'll listen. He paused and took a deep breath. He began to pace around his apartment. What am I gonna do with you? Please at least let me use the bathroom? I asked him desperately. I did want to try and get away, but it was also true. I guess it's okay. You gonna let me pee? Yay! My eyes widened. That really worked? I waited patiently as he pulled out a small knife. I'm going to cut the tape. Then, you can use the bathroom. And after, just sit back in the chair. Got it? I nodded eagerly. Of course. He silently cut through the tape. There. Go ahead. I hoisted myself up shakily. He was watching me carefully, still holding that knife. I slipped into the small dark bathroom and closed the door. I'm surprised he didn't follow me. Geez, Seymour, you got a lot of plants in here. The one by the shower, that's probably not healthy for the plant. Do you know all the gunk that's in a shower head? Then flicked on the light. I gasped quietly. Even more plants. It's so warm and musty. I sighed, gathering my thoughts. Okay, let's freshen up. Well, as long as I'm here, I used the bathroom and washed up. It helped me feel a little better at least. Yeah, my brain power, my sanity. Let's look around this room. What's going on here? I looked around the bathroom. I couldn't find anything even close to a weapon. There are no windows either. There's no way out. I checked the medicine cabinet. Only a bunch of jars and bowls filled with various powders and liquids. I rolled my shoulders and hissed in pain. Maybe there's something in here that can help. Everything looked homemade. Barely anything was labeled, and the few things that had labels were cryptically scrawled. I eventually picked out two that looked promising. One was a clear liquid in the bottle labeled numb. The other was a thick, syrupy amber liquid in the jar labeled for pain. Well, the walkthrough says to take the numb stuff, so let's take the numb stuff. I narrowed my eyes at the bottle. If it hurts less, I can think more clearly. If I can think clearly, maybe I can make it out of here. I popped the top off the bottle, half expecting it to be like water. I was surprised by a strong, flowery fragrance. Ooh. Of course, there's no dosage instructions. Pretty much everything for adults is like a tablespoon, though, right? I gathered my courage and took a small sip. Oh! It didn't have much of a flavor, but after a surprisingly short few minutes, my pain began to subside. I let out a triumphant breath. This feels great. Even better than before. I put the bottle down sloppily and wobbled on my feet. I looked at the door. Do we just go out there now? All right, I guess we just go out there stepping. I guess I better go back out there. I don't want to make him angry, and there doesn't seem to be a better choice. I chewed my lip as I held the doorknob. There's no better choice. Is that the game suddenly telling me that there was a better choice? That I probably shouldn't have drank the thing that said numb? I creaked the door open and came out meekly. He was standing between me and the door out of the apartment. I looked at the chair, my prison, and I sat down. Thanks for doing what I said. He mumbled something very quietly about tape. Oh. He held up his roll of duct tape. I felt like I might be getting somewhere on his good side. So I held my arms to the arms of the chair for him. He paused for a moment. He taped the tape around my arms. He seemed to be careful to do it gently. Once he was done, he leaned back and looked away. I need to go out now. I'll be back later. So I guess, maybe just rest, okay? I nodded to him, but I don't think he even saw me. He moved quickly to leave the apartment. I couldn't see him leave behind me. I sat in the chair, alone, in the relative silence again. Just the sound of muffled neighbors, distant car horns, and that soft hissing of the humidifier. I rested my eyes and slipped into a deep sleep.
Lawrence!
Oh, the trees all wibble-wobble and... It's so dark. I can barely see.
Trees won't stop doing the Macarena.
Well, it says we gotta struggle, so let's struggle. I held my breath and slowly pulled against the tape. At first, I felt nothing change, but something budged. I pulled carefully. It was the arms of the chair. They're loose. Ooh. I kept pulling. The one on the left creaked, and I froze.
Keep struggling, but quietly.
I can do this. I just need to be really careful. I moved my left arm, twisting upward. I could feel the arm of the chair getting looser.
Crap.
I gulped. The blood was pulsing in my ears.
Keep struggling, but quieter.
I was shaking. I have to... I gently pulled up on the left arm one more time. I heard a quiet pop. My arm was free. I quickly used it to begin freeing my other arm. Taking my time, I was able to pull up the other arm of the chair.
Yeah.
With 2 free arms, it was easy to lean forward and grasp the small knife he had left on the table in front of me. I slowly and quietly cut the tape from my limbs. Time to stand. I got up slowly. I was dizzy and sore.
I know they won't, but I get the sinking feeling that these plants are gonna tattle on me somehow.
But I was finally free to move around, and my captor is still asleep.
Let me just save, because I feel like a lot of endings are gonna branch from here. Wait, do I have enough to get in bed with him? Are shenanigans going to ensue?
I knew I should probably leave or something, but...
I mean, he's just laying there, being all cute and stuff. I totally shouldn't be a creep about it.
I looked at him in the bed. He really doesn't look scary like that. The bed is small, but it looks comfortable. I rubbed my aching arms. Something was telling me this was a bad idea.
Everything was probably telling them that this is a bad idea.
But where have all my good ideas gotten me anyway?
Yeah.
I gently pulled up the blanket and crawled in next to him. As I nestled in next to him and his warmth, he began to move.
What? Hi. How you doing? You sleeping?
He jumped back from me a little.
It's just me. What do you think I'm gonna do?
He looked at me in disbelief.
You're...
He blinked a few times. Then something changed on his face, from surprise to anger.
What? Wait! Ah! This is not the shenanigans I was hoping would ensue.
He quickly rolled over me and wrapped his hands around my neck.
Ah!
I was too weak and tired to fight him at all. His weight on me and the tight grip on my throat were such a strange contrast with the warm and soft bed sheets.
Ah!
Maybe I just didn't want to fight him anymore.
What? You startled Lawrence. Well, fine. Well, fine, I didn't want to smooch you anyway, so there.
Well, fine. What if I just leave? What if I just go? Now's my chance. I'm getting the fluff out of here. I tiptoed towards the door. Okay. Listen, plant number 2 and plant number 1, you both better be quiet. I looked over the door. Why are there so many locks? It's not too many locks. Oh, geez, that's a lot of locks. And that one's gonna need a key. He had the usual apartment sliding chain, another larger one on the same style that looked like he screwed it on himself. A swivel lock. One I didn't even recognize. Ooh. My brow furrowed at the padlocks. Luckily, a quick look in the nearby plants revealed the keys. Oh, okay. I chewed my lip and set to work on them, trying to be completely silent. I managed to move the chains with barely any sound. You better not jump scare me, dude. What the heck is this guy so afraid of? I gently opened the padlocks. The guy can punch like a hammer, and he's clearly crazy. I scowled as I fiddled with one of the swivel locks. It's like he's afraid of the fluffing boogeyman. Is he afraid of Ren? Meowed. I spun around, checking on Lawrence. He didn't move. I let myself breathe again. Just this last lock. Ah! My face was slammed into the door from behind. Ow! What? Hey, buddy! Hey, buddy! I was just gonna go out for some pizza. You want some pizza? I was just gonna head out really quickly. Man, when he looks mad, he looks terrifying. Jeez. His usual detached look was gone. He was fully focused. Oh no, he locked in on me trying to escape. Lawrence caught you. Why are you so mad at me? What did I do? Okay, what if I find a better weapon then? So there, where them garden shears at? Ashton, let me hold your garden shears, the big ones. I glanced over the tables in the room. There's plenty of dangerous things here. My gaze settled on his large pair of garden shears. A grin crept over my face. Uh-oh. How fitting. It'll be easy. Ooh, darling. Oh, he's so cute, sleeping all peacefully. He doesn't know what's gonna happen to him. I crept closer to him. My heart was hammering in my chest. Now, you see, if you hadn't been such a butt in the last ending, I probably would have held on to a bit of sympathy. But kill him! Get him! Get his behind! I approached him silently and slowly. My hands and breath became steady. I listened hard to hear his soft breathing. I smiled. No more hesitation. I grasped his shoulder, pulling him down flat. In the same perfect motion, I slammed the blades down into his stomach with all the force I could muster. Ooh, I bet that sucks, friend. He moved his mouth again, trying in vain to say something. But he only managed a cracked sob. I locked eyes with him, and I retched the shears deeper. I panted over his body. That felt pretty good. You killed Lawrence instead. Woohoo! That's what you get for messing with me. Lawrence, you forgot that I'm her. Okay, so this ending is called Lawrence Stopped Holding Back, and I don't know what that implies. So I had to, be a good girl all up so he'll let me use the bathroom, and now it says I have to lock the door. This door locks from the inside. Maybe I can wait him out. I tried to turn the lock carefully, but it still made a loud click. My heart was pounding. Espoir? I kept holding the doorknob, beginning to sweat. I heard his footsteps. I gasped as the door shook in my grip. Come out, Espoir. I can't give in. I can wait him out. I turned around and pressed my back to the door.
Okay. It says... It says to give up. Lawrence! Lawrence!
I can't do this.
I'm coming out. I had to wait till this thing got to the little skull. I think he's gonna be mad.
I heard him step away from the door. He didn't say anything. I squeezed my eyes shut and unlocked the door. I stepped out slowly, looking around. Where?
Ah! Hey, buddy. You seem upset.
He twisted my arm behind me and pinned me to the wall.
Laura...
Quiet! He pressed his body against mine harshly, wrenching my arm painfully. I wheezed softly, unable to take a breath or speak. My struggle was only punctuated by his ragged breathing. It was right next to my ear, in my neck. I kept still, hoping he'd calm down.
I don't think he's gonna calm down in this ending.
He began to pull away. I took in a deep breath, only to have it knocked out of me by a sharp blow to my ribs.
Ow!
I crumpled to the floor, clutching my side. My mind was screaming at me to apologize. I croaked out a sob.
Lawrence! Lawrence?
Something about him seemed different. Something about the whole room seemed different. He stopped and looked right at me. I must have been recoiling. Right. You're scared, aren't you? I felt a chill. He was looking at me in a way that made me feel tied up like an animal. He came close to me, over me. You don't want to die, do you? I shivered as he touched my face and shook my head quickly. But everything dies. I know you haven't seen the river. It's all right. I've seen it, and I'm still scared. Scared, just like you. All the time.
I ain't saying nothing, even though I have seen the river. It's quite lovely, but I didn't see nothing.
I squirmed uselessly. You have every right to be terrified. There's monsters in the dark. Every day, I dream about dying. So, every night, I stay awake. I see more in the dark. And there's so much to be afraid of. He touched my neck, caressing me softly.
Lawrence, where are you going with this, buddy?
It should have been a reassuring gesture, but it wasn't. You're sweet and bright. I guess I picked you before you were supposed to fall. But I suppose that's the way life is. He ran his fingers over my neck more firmly. I couldn't move away from him. You're still full of warm flesh and blood, but what's underneath?
Please, stop.
I was going to kill you nicely. The right way. Like how hunters kill rabbits, or farmers kill chickens. But I'm not a hunter, and there's nothing anyone can do to stop me. I don't want to kill you like that. I want to peel away your layers and unwind your strings. I choked on a sob.
I want to pull every part of you and spread you out. I'll watch your blood and feel the warmth spill out of you. You'll be perfect. You'll be a perfect, beautiful mess. Broken, ruined, dead. And all mine.
Oh no!
My protest was cut off by Lawrence shoving a cloth into my mouth and taping it down. I tried to scream as he leant back, looking over me appreciatively. Don't worry, you don't have to do a thing. You won't even have to breathe for much longer.
Oh, gee, thanks. I was worried about that.
He turned the chair I was bound to. I was shaking and sweating. He retrieved a small knife. To really see the beauty in the world, you have to have some patience. I couldn't shriek or cry. I kept shaking as he made a slow, small cut. It felt like an eternity as I tried to beg him to just kill me. But I couldn't speak through the gag, and I'm sure he wouldn't have listened. I could do nothing but wait in unyielding agony as he peeled me apart. My head dropped lower, but I could still hear him. He breathed evenly, calmly. He was even humming softly. I didn't have the strength to scream or even flinch. And finally, blissfully, I ran out of enough blood to stay conscious.
Lawrence stopped holding back. Well, geez, buddy. You peeled me like an onion. And sang about it. Lawrence, you scary.
Okay, what if I'm super nice to him, but when he's about to start, cutting up my wrist, what if I go, no, I don't want you to do that? I jerked my wrist away from him. Stop! Don't! He tightened his grip painfully and spoke in a quiet tone, dripping with threat. Don't fight me, Espoir. Your path. I'm guiding it now. Do you understand? I looked back at him, unable to find my words. I was shocked at his sudden change in demeanor. He lowered the knife back to my skin. Well?
Please, no, I don't want you to do that.
Please. My voice was shaking. Lawrence, I don't want to die. My head dropped as I tried to hold back tears. I don't want this. You're really scared. I raised my head. Yes. Strange. You look good like that. He looked down at the blade in his hand and tilted it. He mumbled quietly. Why do I like this?
Lawrence! Lawrence!
He suddenly thrust the knife forward, stopping just short of my face.
Just practicing your stabbing.
I choked out a gasp and started to cry. You... My terror and frustration boiled up. What kind of person does these things? What kind of monster? What are you? Wait, did I get this ending already?
What do you mean I lost it? He's the one who lost it. I didn't lose anything. The only thing I lost was my life. Who hurt you, Lawrence?
Okay, this ending is called Lawrence Got Closer. So I don't know what that entails, but I grabbed the knife from him. He's not too happy about it. He's got garden shears at my throat. So I'm like, fine. I'll drop the knife. But I still don't want you to cut my arm, so pull away. Please. I pulled my arm away from him, weakly. Lawrence, I begged. I'm scared.
Don't cut me, bro.
What? He dropped the knife abruptly. Yeah, I've been kind of being super nice to him up until this point, too. We both jumped slightly at the clang it made on the metal of the bucket. I didn't mean... He looked down at my bloody arm, then slowly lifted his gaze up my body to my distressed face. I'm sorry. He quickly turned from me and walked to the other side of the room to gather something.
Did he change his mind? What does this mean that he got closer?
When he returned, he had a few cloths, more tape, and what looked like a bowl of green water. He began to wash the blood off my arm with the cloth and the water. We both sat in a strange silence as he worked. I didn't want to do anything to change his mind again.
His sanity's pretty high.
I shivered from the cold liquid on my already cold arm, but it didn't sting. Once my arm was cleaner, he pressed a clean cloth to it and taped it on.
Thank you. Thanks, buddy.
Thank you, Lawrence. I really appreciate it. He looked like he wanted to say something, but he just quietly mumbled something I couldn't quite hear. He held my arms to tape them back to the chair, taking care to be somewhat gentle with my injured wrist. Just sit. I have to go out.
Wait, what?
But he left quickly, slamming his door and refusing to meet my gaze. I sighed in the quiet apartment, feeling exhausted from fear and blood loss. I let myself relax and slipped into a deep sleep.
Trees wibble-wobbling again.
I eventually passed out again. I woke with a start. Deja vu. I looked down and groaned. My head felt so fuzzy. I don't usually like being close to anybody. A long silence stretched out as he looked down at the ground. He suddenly took a step closer, startling me. You're different. You draw me in. He was staring at me so intently I couldn't look away.
Aww.
Until I felt a soft touch on my knee. He was gently tracing some shape on my leg.
Lawrence?
I whispered cautiously. He seemed to be focusing intently on whatever he was doing.
You're drawing a rune upon my thigh?
You draw me in. He repeated himself, like a moth. I gasped as he moved again, sitting on my lap and straddling me in the chair.
Ow!
He was heavy on my legs, but I didn't want to make a sound.
Ow, dude!
I didn't want to interrupt him for some reason. All this time I'd been trapped here, he'd never touched me like this. I stared in disbelief as he pressed himself against me. I could hear his heavier breathing. I wondered to myself if I should struggle or make some sort of sound. The decision was made for me, as I felt his hand on the back of my head, and I squeaked involuntarily.
Shh. Don't you shush me. What are you planning? Is this hanky-panky, or are you going to shove a knife somewhere?
He was petting me, running his fingers through my hair. You're soft. He lowered his head right next to mine to whisper in my ear. Warm and soft.
Oh no, he's getting redder.
His hand crept under my shirt and stopped to lay flat against my chest. You're pulsing under your shell. Chrysalis. He let out a quiet sigh and rubbed his face into the crook of my neck. I shivered slightly at the feeling of his light stubble. I need to be closer.
music bumping now. My brows furrowed slightly. How could he possibly... I yelped loudly in shock as I felt a sharp point below his hand on my chest. What? I panicked and tried to look down, but he was still pressed against me. I began to struggle and tried to ask what he was doing. But by the time I opened my mouth, the pain on my stomach became so much more intense, and I could only let out a panicked scream. He leaned back quickly and clamped a hand over my mouth. You have to be quiet. I need you to just be silent for this. Lawrence, this is not something that one can be silent for. This warrants a yelp. He reached behind himself to the roll of tape on the table. No, not that fluffing tape. I tried to scream again, but was cut off by him slapping the tape quickly over my mouth. I sobbed behind the tape as he settled back into his position around my seeping gut wound. My guts! That's okay. He looked at my face for a moment, tilted his head slightly, and then ran a finger over the stream of tears on my neck. Perfect. He licked his finger and smiled to himself. May I? What? I stared at him, trying to decipher what he was asking. Whatever you're asking, the answer is no. I can feel it. He was half whispering, half sighing the words. Perfect and incomplete in your shell. I wanted to black out. I couldn't handle this. Above the searing, blinding pain in my abdomen, I could feel a couple of other unsettling sensations. I could feel Lawrence shuddering against me, his heavy breath cooing on the tears streaming down my face. I felt a sickening, disgusting pressure inside. Ah! How dare you! This is not the penetration I was hoping for! The whole scene blurred for a moment as I comprehended him reaching up through my organs. My muffled sobbing, frantic panting, and his ragged breathing were interrupted by his voice. I found it. Wait! Lawrence! Are you trying to get my heart? There's other ways to do that. My ears were starting to hiss, and my vision began to darken. I found you. He squeezed it softly, and it stopped beating. You monster! Ah, my little heart, how could you? You didn't love me, you only loved my organs. So when I have the option to say I have seen the river, is that a lie, or am I taking into context another ending? So I'm gonna say I have seen the river. It's quite lovely, actually. What? I looked down at my lap. Have I? For some reason, when he said the river, I could picture it. I've been there. I was nearly whispering. What was I talking about? I didn't feel like I was lying. There was no color. There was no edge. No shore. And there was this adorable angel there who just was sick of my nonsense. Why is your heart becoming more red? I didn't understand what I was saying. Yet I could picture as easily as any clear memory. Was it some sort of dream? I had to convince him I knew. My voice was rising with desperation. It felt like nothing. It was like waking up. Are we having a moment? I looked at him, finally seeing something completely different. Yes, like waking up. Like the whole world and the people in it are just some nightmare.
Buddy!
What does that mean? What kind of heart is that?
Oh, I didn't think, there was anyone else.
I looked at him empathetically. You're not alone. Not anymore.
I used to regret coming back. I didn't even mean to. I just wanted to stay there. But I accidentally started dreaming again, I guess.
Maybe it won't be so bad this time. It looked as if a weight had been lifted from his shoulders. Maybe we can have some fun in this world.
I'd really like that.
He grabbed a knife and knelt to cut me free.
Wait, are we good now?
I stood, shakily. I stumbled forward into his arms. We held each other for a long moment. Our hearts were beating, but we both knew the truth.
Wait.
We have each other now, and the whole world dying all around us.
Huh? You survived. You both know the truth. Well, I wasn't expecting the ending to go like that, but...
Aww! We're friends now? Aww!
That's... Aww. Found a friend, Lawrence. Oh.